Hey, are you having a midlife crisis? Well, this bike, the Aipas M1Pro, is your solution. All right, y'all, so I have a new piece of gear to share with you. The Aipas M1 Pro. It is an 1800 watt powerhouse. It is fully suspended, front and rear, and I know my old heads are going to love that white lettering fat tire. Mine has the rack that comes with it, where I can strap my helmet, my bag, my gloves. The Aipas bike has a top speed of, I think, 36 miles an hour. 36, okay? Now, I have been on this bike where the speedometer said 36 miles an hour. And let me tell you something, it's you don't really need to go 36, but you can if you want to. So my biggest thing is I want an e-bike that can carry me uphill. That's one of the biggest testaments that I see in every e-bike, and that is a huge question on every single one that I get and I show on this channel. Is it capable of carrying me up the hill? Now, I'm not saying it has to do it without any type of pedal assist, but it has to be able to do the majority of the work for me if I'm going to make an investment like this. This thing didn't even have to pedal. It carried my big butt right up the hill. I'm 250 pounds, and this thing, no problem. Its max weight, though, is 400 pounds. The front headlight is extremely bright, which is another thing that can be a little bit questionable on these systems. This system comes with a horn, your light switch here that you can turn on, and a pretty snazzy little infotainment center that is going to keep track of your mileage. See, I've already ridden 26.7 miles on this thing, so I put in the work. This thing also comes with the Shimano gear system on it, which is pretty standard on these e-bikes. The motor itself is extremely powerful. I have the Zoom hydraulic brakes on it. That is the upgraded brake system. Now, depending on the type of riding that you are going to do, and look at that bright light. I mean, it's much different than all the other ones. With the braking systems on these bikes, it really depends on the terrain that you're going to be in. I learned pretty quickly that the terrain that I typically take them on, the mountainous terrain with steep hills and all that stuff, I need the hydraulic brakes on it. Is it an absolute necessity for all of these? No, it's not. But if you are going to be traveling, say you're going to the beach, just kind of, you're going to be on pretty much flat roads, nothing too crazy. You all have seen the places that I go. I mean, a lot of the hills are really like straight down. So I need a reliable quality brake system. So the standard, I rode it on the standard for a while and it was fine. It stopped me, wasn't a big deal. We are about to hit some trails on this thing, and we are going to see exactly how it performs. All right, y'all, so we are now on the Aipas M1 Pro. We are gonna try to cross over. If we can still cross over here. I don't know. they've changed everything. So I used to be able to get across right here, but now there's guardrails and a ramp. I don't know where this goes. Thank you. Well, this is kind of interesting. This is where, so back in the day, this is where a lot of homeless would rest their ways. And we would fish like crazy off this bridge. Well, this is pretty cool. I guess I can't complain about an undercut. You know, it's always sad when your hometown gets taken down. It's the noise pollution that's crazy. So, anyway, we are on the Aipas M1Pro, 1800 watts. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it up to this very easily. Oh shit, this is, whoa. I think I made a mistake. Holy crap, it's climbing it. I was not expecting that at all. Okay. Alright. Okay, Aipas. I see what you did there. And I wasn't even in like the highest gear to make it the easiest. Alright, hopefully this will be a little bit more stable for us. I don't know. I guess we don't need that much footage, but so, fully suspended, the Aipas M1Pro. So far, the ride is really good. Really good. I'm really impressed with the ride. One of my first complaints that I'm seeing, I'm not crazy about these handlebars. That's just me personally. They do have kind of like a dirt bike kind of feel. So that's kind of nice. I have to say that all of the e-bikes so far that I have ridden on the channel have been really worth their money. There's really the overall quality of these things now. It really just comes down to the finer details is what we're getting into now. So one thing that I'm looking at the Aipas, it's got the 1800 watt output, which really, what does that translate to? It means it's going to be able to get you up and over the hills that you need to with ease. And this thing does. It's actually a little bit, this thing, I've actually thought about that a lot less. So the area that I'm in used to be like a dumping ground. It's kind of cool. So going up on hills like this that would normally start to gas you, no problem. No problem at all. You don't have to even change your freaking gears. So the terrain that I'm typically in is going to be like stuff like this, or is going to be like flat, like kind of park areas that I would ride. Granted, this is a park, but this is a mountain biking park. Another thing that I like so far with the Aipas is the tires. I know, obviously, I'm a big white wall tire fan. That could be kind of up to the buyer, I guess. I think it's an option too. I don't think you have to have the white walls out on it, but I like it. I think it's slick. I wish that they would bring white walls back out on all-terrain tires and mud tires, because I thought it was awesome. Back in the day with my Jeep, I thought I was hot stuff, man. I do still have to make some adjustments on my brakes though. But, because I'm still kind of breaking them in. No pun intended. Alright. Should be good for now. So this area is a mountain biking park. So this area is gonna test a bike like this, because this is where those key details like the hydraulic braking, the suspension, that torque sensor, that's where all of that stuff comes into play if you want to start being serious about getting into e-biking. Because it's kind of weird, the true mountain bikers are going to be wanting the lightest bike possible. With the e-bikes, you don't really have to worry about that as much, because you have the electric power. To get you up and over the jumps. I say up and over because I wouldn't recommend jumping these things, because again, they are pretty heavy. I'll put the actual weight of it down. But, you know, I'm 42. I'm in my midlife crisis period, and Aipas reached out. They're a really cool company, and they wanted me to give it a shot, make a video on it, which I would like to do more of on the channel, like straight reviews and rides like these, because I think that would be really great for the channel. And they also have an e-dirt bike that we're going to be working together on, which I am obviously stoked about. But then again, depending on the individual, there's going to be kind of a very big difference in what you're going to be riding. Like, if you're going to be doing stuff, if you want to get into doing stuff like this, it's an e-mountain bike. It's perfect. Still gives you that option to go ride with your daughter or your son, stuff like that. The drone's kind of having trouble. All right, so this is a hill that I know that I have had trouble with in the past. So I am using a little bit of a pedal assist, but my knees feel totally fine. Which, oh shit, this takes me down to a pretty serious rock face. I need to turn. The awesome people over at Aipas have asked me to do a little bit of an explanation between the hydraulic brake and the mechanical brake. Now, the mechanical brake generally comes standard on most e-mountain bikes. Okay, this is a very simple but reliable system that has been used on bicycles like since the initial inception of them. It relies on a loaded spring down inside of the caliper that as you pull the brake lever, it literally just twists that spring and lets it go. The hydraulic system is a little bit different, so we're going to kind of explain a little bit of both. So, starting off with the mechanical brake system. Now, this comes pretty standard on most e-mountain bike. It's as simple as a steel cable that is fed in here and attached, rather this way, and fed down. So when you squeeze those brakes, it will push the brake pads closed and they spring back. So the downside to having the mechanical brake system is that there's basically almost constant need for adjustment. So up by your brake lever, you're going to have to rotate the other tightener here, which will create more space and tightening up that cable. Now, the mechanical brake system, like I said, is pretty reliable. If you are using this bike in the neighborhoods on, just kind of flat roads, maybe low traffic, nowhere where you're going to have to consistently brake quickly, the standard mechanical system will work just fine. Now, with the new advances in technology, we have the new hydraulic brake system on the Aipas bike that you can upgrade. This hydraulic system is made by Zoom, which is a fantastic company. They're extremely reliable. And the hydraulic brake system is good for those riders that are looking to be a little bit more aggressive. The hydraulic system allows for a much stronger braking power. So if you are going to be going down steep hills, you're in areas where you're going to need to brake really quickly, the hydraulic system is the best system to run. They operate both in the same fashion as you squeeze your brake lever. There's a steel cable that is fed down into here, and this squeezes in. Now, this will automatically adjust based on your brake pad wear and tear. The standard system does not. So once you get your hydraulic brake system stabilized where you're going to need it, it will stay that way. So it'll automatically self-adjust because of the hydraulic system that's working within the brake caliper. The ones that are offered through Aipas are fantastic quality. They are they are more heavy duty. So when you're feeling the two, you're going to be able to feel the difference in the brake calipers. Depending on the setup that you currently have, you can use your existing hardware to fit the hydraulic brake system onto your bike. So the old system is going to include these spacers that are already on the mechanical system. All you have to do is to just remove these two bolts that are on the top and remove the spacers from this system, move them over onto here, and it's done. It's a very simple process to do. You do have to rely on the old spacers. Now, you could also, if you need it, if for some reason you lose something, you can get spacers just like these through Aipas, or even easier, just go up to your local hardware store and measure the distance that you're going to need, and you can pick up spacers from there as well. The X-Tech is a fantastic model for the Zoom system. Now, these brakes are going to come in absolute clutch if you are looking to take your mountain biking adventures a little bit more seriously. If you're really wanting to go push that bike to its limits, I would highly recommend getting this braking system, because the difference is really, it comes down to weight. The weight of the e-bikes, because of the battery systems, because of the frames, because of the motors, you have much more weight. Weight requires more distance for stopping. It's a basic concept. If you're just going to be cruising around your neighborhood, going to your local neighborhood pool, just having a good time, riding on cement and basic trails, your mechanical brakes are totally fine. These are really for the guys that really want to push it. You want that steep incline to either go up or to go down. And you're going to need the hydraulic brake systems because it's going to be able to provide consistent pressure on that disc, because it's not reliant on your hand to continuously squeeze that lever. And this is automatically going to adjust as it eats away the brake pads. One of the biggest issues that I ran into personally was I had the mechanical braking system, right? I was on it was over a mile long that was an extremely steep decline. I mean, the bike, I was like basically leaning over my handlebars. What I noticed during that time is I was chewing right through my brake pads. And as I did that, the cable was set up for more brake pad. So as I got closer to the bottom of this mountain, my brake lever was almost completely collapsed because chewed through too much of the pad itself. That can lead to a pretty, I mean, you're still going to be able to get the bike stopped, but depending on the adventures you want to go to, it can really put you in a scary situation where you're not going to be able to stop as quickly as you need to. Aipas has the solution here with hydraulic brakes. Like I said, because of the hydraulic system inside, this is automatically going to adjust as the brake pad wears away. So let's go down and we will install this new system, and let me just show you how easy it is to hook up. Okay, so installation is very easy. Once you have followed the steps and you have your new hydraulic brake ready to install. So you are going to be using these bottom screws. Once you have adjusted the height here using your previous spacers, all you're going to do is, here's your cable that is going to be fed through your adjustment here. Make sure it's all the way down, that way you'll have more room later if you need it. You feed this down, and you don't want to tighten it down just quite yet because you want to get it up and onto your brakes, onto your disc there. Then start your thread. Now that you have it good and mounted there, you go ahead and tighten these down. Here. Then on this bolt here, you have a flat kind of washer that this fits into. So it tucks down up underneath it there. Try to get you a little bit closer look. See how this just tucks in right under there, okay? All right, So now that you have it in there, you want to go ahead and set it, but not too tight, because you're going to need a set of pliers to set it at the proper distance. So all you're going to have to do, and yes, I'm using robo grips, but any pliers will do. You loosen it back up a little bit, pull it tight, okay, then tighten that down. There. You give your brake lever a squeeze, you'll be able to determine if you need to pull your steel cable down, or you can make fine-tune adjustments here. You don't want to over tighten it, because you can always make your fine-tune adjustments simply by rotating this, and this is going to pull that cable a little bit tighter. You rotate it, and then you can lock it down right there. Then an easy way to kind of check it, you just roll it back and forth. You want to make sure that it's not, if it's overly tightened, it's going to grab a hold of that brake, of that disc brake there, and then you can make your adjustments as necessary. But that is the installation of the rear hydraulic brake. The front is the same process, using the spacers as you need it to get you in the proper height, and then you just anchor it right back in. Trouble with it, you can email me and I'll be happy to help you in any way that I can. So thanks guys.